Hey, what's up? This is Josh Abrams, the one and only, I guess. 2008 is gone. Now it's 2009. I'm just messing around, but 2008 was definitely a different year. Uh, for 2009, I decided my New Year's resolution is going to be make some video blogs because I don't feel like typing a lot all the time, and I don't know who's going to actually read all this stuff. In fact, I don't even know who's actually going to look at this other than me or my wife. So this is just for me. So whatever, if anybody else looks at it, whatever. I'm going to talk about the most memorable events of 2008 in my life. You can do your own thing, but this is for my life. All right. It's I wrote it down for 10, so I'm gonna talk about each one of them. All right. Number 10, first black president. Come on now, that's got to be on everybody's list. That's the biggest thing for 2008 for anybody. I mean, come on, first black president. And then he came to Jackson and spoke at Jackson State, and he was only a block away from my house. I didn't get a chance to see him though. I kicked myself, but I drove around the building that he was at, and my brother got to see him. So that was close enough. But hey, at least I could say that he was only a block away from my house. So it was like Fort Knox trying to get up in there too, and I had my kids. I couldn't take them, so that was that. But I made sure I voted for him. I actually had some problems trying to vote on the voting day because I was registered in Edwards, my hometown, but my mom took me off the voter registration. And so while I was in line to vote, I got to it. It was like, your name ain't on the list. So I was like, oh crap. So we had to fill out some papers and stuff because I was like, this don't make no sense. I'm registered in Edwards. End up having to fill out something else, and then I actually voted. And then they told me after that, they was like, call back to see if your vote counted. I was like, it don't matter. I voted. Number 9, bad reunions. Had some bad reunions for 2008 that just blew up in my face. First of all, there was the family reunion. I have a lot of family in Chicago. They're supposed to come down to Mississippi. Everybody decided that we was going to have a family reunion in Mississippi. And so they was talking with my family. They like to fuss and over talk each other a lot. I guess I didn't inherit that part, but like so they was like, fine, we're not going to Mississippi. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. It's not even that many of us in Mississippi. In fact, me and my family were planning on moving. And so I emailed everybody and I was like, y'all need to come on down, or otherwise y'all never gonna come out here. Like, we always in Chicago. No offense to Chicago, much love to Chicago, my birthplace, but like, let's just come on down to Mississippi. But things happened, it couldn't go through. My aunt had to go to the hospital. She was sick. She's doing better now. And so that was that. So I emailed everybody. I said, well, if we have it again, I'm not going to it. I wanted people to come because they'll have a place to stay, but now the only relatives left in Mississippi is my brother and a couple of cousins, and that's it. The other bad reunion, which really frustrated me, was my high school reunion. Like, I didn't really like high school that much, but I wanted to go back to see how it was like. And like, everybody was emailing during the year, like, you're going to your reunion. Since the beginning of 2008, they was talking about that, and I was looking forward to that. I wanted to talk to people, see how they've been after 10 years, other than just through emails. Because actually, I was meeting up with people, not meeting up with people, but finding people on Facebook and MySpace. And that was the only way. But I wanted to see people in person and tell them I've gotten married, see if they got married, see what they're doing now, tell them about my TV show and that type of thing. But when it time that came to it, nobody was paying their dues. Even me, I admit that. I wasn't paying my dues. I planned on paying at the door because I BS'd it. I admit, I just pushed it aside. But found out everybody did that, and it blew up in our face. So end up going to had to go to a football game. It was a homecoming football game, so that's where everybody gonna meet at. So I was like, all right. So I brought my family, drove all down to Raymond, and everybody for like 2/3 of the game, I didn't see anybody from my class, just people from the class below me. And you know, Raymond High hasn't changed a bit. They're still stuck up. Obviously, they're still losing at the football games. So it was like, because I make this my rule: if I see anybody from my high school walking around in person, I will not speak unless they speak first, because I had too many bad experiences with me speaking first, and they'd be like, oh hey, and it takes a lot for me to come up to you and speak to you. So that kind of pissed me off. So whatever. So in fact, Jason came up there with me. He saw more people from his class, and then I finally met up with people from my class. It was only like 5 of them sitting together, but that was good enough. And you know, got a chance to speak to people. But it was like, we'll do it again for the 15-year reunion. I'm like, I doubt it. I don't know if I'll come to that. It can be for the 20th, and we'll be all 38 and stuff. So that was my experience with the bad reunions. Number 8, I learned to animate. Well, to 2D animation. I gave up on animation a couple of years ago because I took 3D animation. I took 3 classes of 3D animation, and I suck at it. I'm like, I just don't know what I'm doing. So my wife bought me this animation program and said we should do a contest, and did that and enjoyed it, did better. I was like, wait a minute, I actually learned more from the program than these 3 classes. But I think it was because the classes I was taking in college had like graduate students that were just like, animate. They really didn't tell us too much other than character modeling. So I know how to character model, but after learning how to animate with the animation program, I think I know how to do it more with 3D. So I started building up my skills, and got my 2D animation going on. So I know how to do that now. Number 7, there was a lot of anniversaries for me for 2008. First things first, it was the 5th year anniversary since I met my wife. So I always tell her this is the longest relationship I've ever been in, because the longest relationship next to that was 6 months, and before that was like 2 weeks, I think. I'm just playing, like a month or something. I haven't really been in relationships that long, and so I celebrated that with my wife. 5 years. I mean, you know, we were dating for 5 years. We've been married for like 4 years. So like, also, it was an anniversary that I came to my church, Voice of Calvary, and met a lot of my closest friends that I still am friends with today. So I was telling them, I was like, we've been friends for 20 years. They hate hearing that because it makes us sound like we're old, but we met when we were kids, so that's not a big deal. You know, we're all 28, 29. That's all big deal, you know. It was also the anniversary of my dad's passing. He passed 5 years ago, and then the same year I met my wife. And it was my, you know, anniversary that I finished high school and went to college. That was 10 years ago. So I had my college friends. It was 10-year anniversary for meeting them. So 2008 was definitely a cornerstone year for a lot of stuff. So, and I wanted to try something different for 2008 so I can have something to celebrate for that for years later for 2018 or 2013. Number 6, my church, Voice of Calvary, finally gets a new pastor. The last pastor they had was my dad, and my dad, like I said, passed away 5 years ago. And I was a little upset, to be honest, because at first because they kind of was like pushing my dad out from being pastor, and then as soon as they finally pushed him out, he died, like as if that was what he was here for. So that made me a little upset, and then they couldn't find a pastor forever. They just kept, but the good thing about 2008, to speed things up, they got a pastor, Pastor Nettie Winters, and he took over. He did his thing. He's definitely a good guy.